Welcome back to the tax tutorial video. In this video, I'll be showing you how you can file your taxes for free using CloudTax. Why CloudTax versus other providers? Because with CloudTax, you get privacy. You're not at the risk of having your data being sold to other providers or have to worry about being cross-sold other products. You also get live chat support and video tutorials throughout the application. One of the things I really like about CloudTax is that it's structured and so easy to use, so you don't feel lost within your tax return. The other feedback I've gotten from you guys is that when you're filling out your own taxes, sometimes it can be straightforward. Sometimes your situation can be a little bit more complicated and you wish you could have someone take a second look. Well, CloudTax solves that problem. If you want, you can have an expert take a second look at your tax return to make sure you don't miss out on any deductions or tax credits. That way, you get your tax return done right the first time around. And last but not least, you can file your taxes for free without an obligation or a request for donations. These are just some of the highlights of why you should be using CloudTax to file your taxes. I'll go into a lot more detail throughout this tutorial. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So here's a quick overview of the CloudTax dashboard. Here we have the CloudTax logo up front and a structured section so you can go in and out of various sections without having to get lost. Here you can see how complete your tax return is. You can add or remove slips with a click of a button. The one thing I really like about CloudTax is that these tutorials are built right into the application. In the bottom right corner, there's a neat little chat icon. So if you need technical help, you can message someone directly, or you can look at the FAQs if you need to know more information on tax tips or tax credits, or just help with tax filing. So for example, if you're looking for tax tips and you're a senior student, they have scenarios for all kinds of situations. So definitely look into these tax tips. They are super helpful. And in this corner, it will show you your tax refund status. So as you're filling out various parts of the tax return, you can see your tax refund in real time. So now that we familiarize ourselves with the dashboard, let's go ahead and prepare a tax return. I want to do a new tax return. Yes. Let's go ahead and type in your name. John. Is John married? He's single. Has the status changed? No. And no dependents. Province of residence. Let's use Ontario. Next. So in this case, I'm only going to file 2020, so I'm going to go ahead and do no continue. Now here's where CloudTax differs from other platforms. So you can either DIY yourself if you want, or you can have an expert do your taxes for you. 100% hassle-free. You get audit protection and you get priority support for only $29.99. I think this is a great value in terms of what you get for only $30. So definitely check this out if this is something you're interested in. But for this purpose, we're going to go ahead and DIY. So now you can choose which scenario best suits your profile. Are you a student, employed, self-employed? Do you have rental income? Are you unemployed? Or are you a senior? In this case, John is employed. Let's go ahead and choose that and hit next. Now I have all the options of adding in all my income slips, my deductions, my tax credits, or my expenses. And you can go through these lists by hitting show all to make sure you have not missed out on anything. So in this case, I have to fill out a T4 and I have a T5 to fill out for investment income. I'm going to go ahead and select those two. Next, I have some deductions. I've made RRSP contributions. And if you had additional expenses like childcare, disability, or any other capital gain deductions, this is where you would add them in. Annual dues, support payments. So it's also a good reminder to go through the list in case you realize, uh-oh, I missed a slip. So that way you can go and retrieve your slip and come back here and fill out the form. We have some tax credits. So I have medical expenses. I have donations that I'm going to show. Now that I've filled out all my slips, I'm going to go ahead and do next. And here's where I can enter my personal information. I'm going to use a mock SIN number for the purposes of this tutorial. And you'll see you'll get a pop-up reminder saying that new for this year is your net file access code. So when you filed your taxes in 2019, you would have received a notice of assessment. And on the top right-hand corner, there's a access code that you can put into this field right here. And if you don't have your access code from your NOA, not to worry, you can still go ahead and continue to use this platform. Let's go ahead and fill out the address. In this case, where does John live? 3001. And what's really cool is that as you start typing your address, you actually get a pop-up so you know you're typing the right address. And it automatically populates the city and the postal code and the province, which makes it that much easier to do your taxes. The next piece is, are you registered for the CRA My Account? If you have not registered, I highly recommend you sign up for your own CRA account. In this case, John's already registered, and I'm not ready to go paperless yet. Next, I'll ask you some other questions. Are you eligible for the disability tax credit? Anytime you see something in blue, you can actually click on that to get more information directly for the CRA. So for example, if you're not sure what the disability tax credit is, you can go ahead and read up on it to make sure you can claim this tax credit if you are eligible. Small features like that make it super easy to do your own taxes. So in this case, he's not eligible. Are you filing your tax for the first time? No. Have you been to a prison in the last 90 days? No. Language of preference is English. And I'm going to go ahead and claim the climate action incentive. Next, province of residence is Ontario. Is your home address the same as your mailing address? Yes, it is. And did you live outside of a census metropolitan area as of December 31st? If you're not sure where that is, again, it's in blue. That means I can click on it and get more information on what that means. These are all the metropolitan areas. If you live in one of these areas, then you do not qualify for additional 10% for the climate action incentive. So that's a no. Have you moved in and out of the country? No. Do you have Canadian citizenship? Yes. As a citizen, do you authorize the CRA to give your name, address, date of birth, citizenship to Elections Canada? Yes, I do. Do you hold any specified foreign property? Again, blue. That means I can go ahead and click on it if you're not sure what foreign specified property is. In this case, John doesn't, so that's a no, and not exempt from the Indian Act. And this is where you would fill out if you are filing a tax return on behalf of someone else. So for example, if you're filling this out for a family member, hit yes. If you're doing it for yourself, hit no. In this case, I'm doing it for myself, so that's a no. And is this return made under the Canada Revenue Agency Volunteer Program? No, it's not. Next, this is a really cool feature. If you are registered with a MyCRA account, you can have the CRA Autofill your return. And this really speeds up your return because it will import T4s, T5s, T3s, RRSP deduction limits, essentially all the information that the CRA has on your account, it will automatically get populated in. So if you have not had a chance to use it, I highly recommend you check out Autofill My Return. It will speed up your return and you'll be done that much sooner. In this case, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and skip autofill. First up is my T4 and start entering the data as I see it on the slip. So the name of my employer, Winterfell. Province of employment, Ontario. Box 14, again, I'm just taking the tax slip and comparing the boxes and typing in the data as I see it. Any income tax deducted? Yes, $28,350.25. Box 16, 2564.10. It has automatically populated insurable earnings, but on my T4 I actually don't have anything in box 24, so I'm going to go ahead and zero that out. It's automatically filled in box 26, but my tax slip has a different amount, so I'm going to go ahead and use the amount on my tax slip. So in this case, I'm going to override this to $55,300. The other thing I want to check out on your T4 is, are you exempt from CPP, EI, or PPIP? In this case, John is exempt from EI. I'm going to go ahead and check off this box. Let's go ahead and do next. Next up is my T5 from Tangerine. As I collected some interest on my account, that goes into box 13. And all I'm doing is just taking a look at my T5 slip, matching the boxes on the slip to the platform. It's that quick and it's that easy. In this case, I have some interest of $200.65, $209.65. What type of interest is it? It is interest from a bank. And there's nothing else on my T5, so I'm going to go ahead and move to the next section. So let's go ahead and do next. In this case, I have $25,000 in unused deduction limits from my NOA. I have nothing in unused contributions. And I've made some contributions to Quest Trade. And this was done between March and December of 2020. And this was an RRSP contribution in the amount of $3,000. And notice that our tax refund is already showing that we are eligible for $1,500. So once I hit next, notice this is automatically updated. So now my refund has gone from less than $1,500 to almost $2,800. This is my total income, my total tax payable, my total tax credits. And because I made a $3,000 contribution to my RRSP, that increased my tax refund by $1,300. So that's what it means by last change. Now I have some medical expenses. Who's a patient? John. I made this as an eligible medical expense. And this was for prescription eyeglasses because they were not covered by my work plan. So I had to pay $200 out of pocket. Next, and I made donations to a registered charity. This was for sick kids. This was for $500. Let's go ahead and do next. Now that I filled out my income slips, I filled out my deductions, I filled out my credits, now I'm on the provincial section. If you want to go back to any of those sections, you can just click and you can see if you want to make changes to your T4 slip, T5 slip. They are all easily accessible through the left-hand pane. So this makes it really quick, really easy to jump in and out of your return. So let's go ahead, go back to the provincial tax credits. And now we're at the Ontario tax credits. Would you like to claim the Ontario Focus flow-through shares? No. Would you like to apply for the Ontario Children Benefit? This is where if you've paid property tax, or if you've paid rent, or if you're eligible for the Northern Ontario Energy Guide, make sure you hit yes. In this case, we're going to do no. No donations to the Ontario Opportunities Fund, and we're not a resident of Nova Scotia. Let's go ahead and do next. And now that we've put all our information into the platform, we can have CloudTax error check our return. So let's go ahead and do error check. And it's complete. We're good to go. So now hit next. And there you go. Now I can see that I'm eligible for almost a $3,000 refund. Here's my total income, my taxable income, total payable, and total credits. This is where you can review information by yourself to make sure you've input that in correctly. So make sure you verify that your personal information and address are correct. This section right here, this is where CloudTax really shines. Once you fill out your tax return, and you're not sure about some of the information you've entered and you want a second opinion by a professional, make sure you hit this option right here, review with an expert. That way, you can get a full review to make sure that you get the most out of your tax refund, and you can book a virtual appointment online. If you want your tax reviewed by an expert for a full review, it'll cost you $20, which I think is a great peace of mind. Because if you're not sure that if you've hit the right box here, if you checked off the box there, or if you've claimed all the tax credits that you are eligible for, this is a great option. Because sometimes we just need a second look to make sure we're on the right track. And you also can opt into audit protection for $16 if you want that extra peace of mind. Once you've reviewed everything, you're ready to submit your tax return. It's that quick and easy. And if you need a little bit more help, CloudTax is there for you. That's it for this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one.